welcome back everybody to Raw's Ginger. And as you can see, our regular beef isn't here because he's run out of beef stock and he just needed to go and get some.
I
That
know
happens to the best of us.
it does. Like some of this, like,
Aye,
just can't put. We just can't put up with that veg.
exactly.
Yep. But I'll start off with some good news. Like for any Thomas fan that is tuning into this, I doubt they will be, but I got the elusive Henry. Here's my show and tell. Hey,
Yes.
it's that because the UK
Ma-
they weren't releasing them in the UK. So like, one of my Thomas contacts went go to AliExpress. So I got the Chinese version.
nice.
Like
Nice one.
so I say this as everybody's wanting to do to a major company. Fuck you, Mattel. Yeah.
My show and tell this week's a little version of Jake the Snake.
Oh, brilliant. What?
A wee baby version.
I was watching it was Miss Mojo, and they were doing like top 10, like, like wrestling, like shoot fights essentially. And they talked about
Aye.
Jake the Snake and Macho Man Randy Savage with the snake.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that ticked me off the most, they kept calling it Lucifer. I'm like, it's Damien.
No, it's Damien.
I was like, right darkness, just wrong one.
Aye.
It's like, but in fairness, like, Watch Mojo, I've got like 2 million subscribers. We've got at the time of this recording 195. So, but at least we know our facts.
Always keeping up there.
Yeah, we're creeping there. We're getting there. Well, it's the only thing that they've got wrong so far for them. I can't blame them.
That's my
Oh,
classic DC mug.
oh, that's good.
I like that.
That is quality. That is quality. And obviously Debbie can't be here because she's away actually having a holiday, but still was dropping like shorts about stuff, and I was like, Debbie, go have a holiday,
Take a break. Take a break. Come on.
take a break, week innit? So go take the break, enjoy it. It's the only time I've ever felt bad for telling somebody stop doing shit.
Stop.
But in fairness, like she was covering, she'd watched Clash in Paris and was giving some of the reactions, and that's why we are here today to talk about Clash in Paris.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, so initial reactions, we'll go with Ray and his snake. So what do you think? What did you think?
First of all, the French crowd is amazing. Some of the reactions they were giving the wrestlers. This one isn't necessarily about Clash in Paris, but the reaction to AJ when he came out for his match against Dom on Monday. That is going to be the very reaction that you could imagine any wrestler dreams about when he gets into that business. And all he could do there was essentially stand and laugh at him. WWE had to throw a promo in the middle to let the crowd get a chance to calm down. I thought that was phenomenal, given it was for him.
Yep, the phenomenal one indeed.
Yes.
Yep. But Kev, what did you make of Clash in Paris?
It was all right. I mean, the PLEs have been a bit hit and miss. There's never been like a run of ones that are like they've all been amazing. It's been like, what's the point in this one? Nothing happened. It didn't continue any stories. Whereas this sort of started pushing future stories that are coming, especially after Raw as well, with the CM Punk and Becky. You just know that AJ Lee's coming. As much as Mark wanted AJ Lee to be there at Clash in Paris, and at points I thought, you know what, it might happen, but it didn't. And they missed opportunities with things like that. They missed an opportunity with not having Brock just show up. It's not like they don't have the money to have him flying over to Paris, run in, F5 John Cena, and then back on the plane. They've got the money for it. They should have done it. It didn't happen.
Yeah. But we'll talk about a couple of the key talking points of Clash in Paris. And the first one is the whole Becky Lynch thing. The thing that I've seen that's been doing the rounds is that they basically formed Team Rocket from Pokemon. And it was that way. I was like, cue like the Sam Wilson gif. He's out of line, but he's right. That's basically what it is. I looked at it as like what Meowth was basically.
Paul Heyman,
Yes, that's what they had them.
That's
Meowth was Paul Heyman. Is that what's the snake one? Was Braun
Back
Breaker?
up.
What and then like the big ball was Bronson Reed, and I'm like I was like, it just makes so much sense. He's just looked at
Yeah.
it and went cinema. So what did you think? Do you think it was a predictable outcome, or more inevitable?
See, I kind of predicted that he wasn't going to win clean.
Hmm.
I didn't see Becky coming in. I expected another, maybe a fourth person to the division, no a female fourth person.
Hmm.
But I was definitely kind of taken back. But as soon as she taken the mask off, it makes sense.
Yeah.
My hot husband, this and that, and the next thing, it was only a matter of time before she got involved in that storyline.
Aye. What about you,
Aye.
Kev?
And the thing is, they don't really have anywhere that Becky could go now. They put her in a match that she didn't need to be in.
Hmm.
It was essentially a match just to show that Becky Lynch is there in Paris. She had no reason to be there. They've not been pushing the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. It's like, oh, no, you're fighting Nikki Bella for the title. And the match was quite bad
Hmm.
because Nikki couldn't hit her spots.
Yeah.
Becky carries the match because Nikki has been out of the ring for so long. She's just not there anymore. There was no
Hmm.
need for her to come back. And it's just, they're pushing the wrong people.
Yeah. Well, and then the other meme I've seen going around is like, what it's one of the botches and it just pans into John Cena's wife smiling. I think you guys have seen that one too.
Yeah.
It was one of the ones I felt bad. I actually felt bad for her. I felt bad for Nikki Bella. Like she didn't, well, she's getting trolled, but she was put into like an impossible situation with it.
Aye.
So
In
obviously,
fairness, it's kind of Nikki's chance to now that she's got the baby, she can come back and show the baby what Mammy used to do.
mm, that is
This
true.
is what Mammy did before she had you. And see him over there and her that's sitting in the front row. I used to be really close to merit to him, but
Mm,
he didn't want to have you. Like she
eh.
can play that story like we had all that, but
Oh man, like there's going to be some sort of ladder match involved in this, isn't there? If 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 we played our cards right with our fantasy booking, this would be a ladder match situation.
yes,
Oh man, it's crazy. But talk about like John Cena and Logan Paul since we were mentioning it. Like, how surprisingly good was that match?
It was one of the strongest matches on the card.
Mm. So even though like Ray, I was quite surprised that with the moves they were busting out, like all it was. I'd seen in one of the reviews, it was like they just essentially hit the spam button, but for everybody else's finishers. Do you think you agree with that
aye,
one?
they kind of started move stealing for everybody and anybody they could think of, and I think that's kind of John Cena's answer to Logan Paul outright saying, "You've done 5 moves for the last 25 years. What have you done lately?"
Mm,
So, all right, I'll show you. I'll do this match, and I'll probably not even hit the 5 moves, and I'll hit two of the 5 moves. And Ken, what I've fought against this guy. I'll use his move. I
mm.
fought against this guy. I'll use this move. But it what?
Do you think it was the right person that won at the end of the day?
You need to remind me who won that.
Cena.
Cena, yeah, aye. I think Cena did because it proves the point that he still got it. It proves that although Logan Paul is in fact out there doing it more regularly, and he's been doing it more regularly over the last few years. That don't try and bite the big dog unless you can. You're going to beat him.
Mm. But then again, that also plays something in with the fact that like they gave Austin Theory a win over him. So
I know.
does that mean like what does that say about Logan Paul? What does that say about Austin Theory?
He says that he's better than Logan Paul.
Hmm? Because I think like when Austin Theory comes back, that could be a strong match there, and it could be based off the fact of like you've had all these opportunities, but I beat John Cena and you didn't.
Mhm.
I think that's a ready-made storyline if they play it right, but they'll probably end up doing the whole like Grayson Waller, like, why did you split with me when I was injured? Meh, storyline. Well,
Aye.
I know.
do that, but I would like to see a twist to that tale like the Logan Paul one. But we'll touch briefly on like obviously what had happened in Raw afterwards as well with the Becky Lynch and CM Punk promo. The people were saying that that segment is one of the best segments of all time, and I don't know what they were watching because I did not like that segment at all. I really didn't. What do you guys think?
I thought it was okay. It's You can see them setting up the tag match between CM Punk and AJ
Hmm.
and Seth and Becky. That's where they're going with this. Don't know when it's going to be. The next big Survivor Series could be there. They could hold it off for the Royal Rumble. Possibly have AJ in the Royal Rumble as well. Who knows?
Hmm.
But it's going to set up. If they do it at Survivor Series, then it'll set up an Intercontinental title match with AJ and Becky.
Hmm.
Now, Becky doesn't need to drop the title to her. They should keep the belt on her and have her drop it to somebody that's up and coming at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because Becky doesn't need titles.
Drop it to
The same with
somebody
Seth
else.
Rollins. Seth Rollins doesn't
Hmm.
need the title to be as relevant as he is.
Yeah.
When Roman Reigns was the champion, they had to make a belt and put it on him because oh, he's not relevant without a belt. It is. Roman Reigns has came back and shows that he's still relevant without the belt, even though they gave him it for like 4 years and like 3 title matches.
Hmm.
But that's another story. We've already went into that.
Yeah.
But the movement itself helped to set up future. But the way it was done, I can understand why you're saying it's not the best because it wasn't. There have been so many better ones.
Hmm.
And you could see Becky breaking. She couldn't keep up her lines. And it's just, there's so much that they're letting slip just now, I think.
Hmm. Well, something that I'd seen is that they were basically saying that Becky and Seth are essentially Hunter and Stephanie McMahon 2.0. Ray, would you agree with that, or do you think
Uh,
it's like it's more it's more just a cheap copy?
See, I think it's a cheap copycat and maybe a throwback to them.
Hmm.
But something I made comment to the wife when we were watching it was that Becky was very, very coming across British scheme mammy
Hmm.
during that promo. Like when it got to the point of, gads, I've got your gems on me. I didn't hear that in an Irish voice. I heard that in like
Like,
voices I did in fact here on the playground. And I'm not talking about when I was a wee boy.
hmm. The irony was like it sounded very Brummy, considering that she'd just been ripping into Birmingham.
Aye,
Well, since there's something we need to cover for you in particular, like we got to talk tribal thief.
yes.
Got to talk tribal thief. Right. So do you think this is the end of the Shula Fala, or he's going to go after someone else and take their shoes?
I hope he takes somebody else's shoes. I'm gutted that he didn't steal Jay Uso's shoes.
Mm,
So Jay got himself involved in that. It would only have made sense if somebody nicked his shoes before his match.
mm,
So it would have made sense.
yeah. But are you gutted that when Roman Reigns threw those shoes into the crowd that you weren't in that crowd?
Oh, definitely. I was ready to run to here to Paris to try and get a shoe.
Mm. This like the
It
second
made,
like
actually made me, it
yeah.
made me wonder the day. It's like, does that mean that I can't? I need to stop making the Shula Fala content?
Well, it just depends like what's going to happen. Like because there's a lot of shoes out there, not a lot of
Yeah,
time. But there's also going to be no
a
Roman
lot of
Reigns.
shoes and not a lot of Shula Falas.
Yeah, but there's not going to be a lot of Roman Reigns either. Like because the whole like procession of Roman Reigns' match from start to him getting annihilated basically
Aye,
was an hour. That was just
aye.
an hour of
Didn't
runtime.
realise it. I didn't realise that it ran for as long as that.
Uh, well, that actually led me to the point I was going to ask. I can ask Kev. Did you feel like it dragged, or do you feel like in a way it was like, I didn't realize that was an hour that went by?
I didn't realise. I mean, the match itself was only like 20 minutes,
Something like that, yeah.
but then it's like it just went on and on and on. So how? It's like when I went back and watched to like time it, I was like, that's lasted longer than the actual match.
Yeah. I take it this was the write-off for
But
El Roman Reigns so he can go and film Street Fighter.
yeah,
Probably.
Hmm. I thought so. Well, but it was the way it was like it needs all this stuff and all this stuff. They were really trying to keep him protected with the amount of abuse that they gave him. Well, it was quite surreal, really. Well, then so that
um,
also tied in for the
I
story
mean,
for the match itself with Punk and Uso and LA Knight. Yeah. Uh,
I mean,
Yeah.
if they wanted to really write him off, they could have had him lose.
mm,
I mean, Bronson Reed took out Seth.
that's true.
They could have done the same thing, and then that could have been a story that Bronson Reed would build him up. He's took
Mm,
out Seth. He's took out Roman. Who else is he going to take out? I mean, these are two of the top guys in this company, and he's
yeah.
took them out. Keep that going. Build characters. They're not building enough new people up.
Yeah.
There's, it's like Vince 2.0. He had his guys who he would build to a certain level. Everybody else was mid card. He didn't care about them.
Mm.
He have his core group, have them. When they get too old, brings up another couple of people.
Well, that brings me to another point about the being too old, and also talk about LA Knight. Do you think that they're ever going to do anything with him again?
No.
Well, I just feel so bad
I
for
think
him.
drop him into the odd storyline for some extra flavour in, but I don't think he's going to get a big title run.
Yeah, I just feel so bad for him because like if there's anybody that deserves it, it's him. Well, I think I'm to LA Knight what Kev is to our truth. Well, and what he adds to, he can hold his own. He can. What if you give him a shot, he's going to take it. Because I mean, yeah, he had the US title run, but they totally screwed him with that booking, completely and utterly
Mm-hmm.
shafted him. But if you give him a chance and gave him a real chance to go with it, like he could run with that ball and easily put somebody
I
over.
mean, they're saying that he's too old. He's only like 4 years older than Seth Rollins.
Something like that, yeah. Well, it's not even that much.
How is it? He's like a year older than me.
Hmm.
Most of the people are like ages with us.
Yeah.
So how is something that's like it's like going to be 43, I think, this year? How is
Uh,
that too old? He's Hulk Hogan jumping about in his 50s. He had Vince
exactly.
in his 50s with the title. He had Undertaker in his late 40s with the title. It's bullshit. They just don't care
Hmm.
about building people up who the fans actually want to see.
Yeah.
Give the fans what they want. If it doesn't work, take the title off them.
Hmm.
It's not that hard.
That is true. Well, you could just like do the run and see how it is, or they're just wanting to keep that aura about him. They're trying to treat him like what Mick Foley was for years.
Mm.
But they were like the novelty of Mick Foley was better than any belt. But
Uh,
I personally don't believe that. And the fans didn't because eventually we got what we wanted with that. We got Foley with the gold. But
mhm.
it just feels like you're watching some of these guys. You're watching like your LA Knights, like your R Truths. Well, those guys that everybody's like put something on them because we know he can do it, and they're like, no, like you being a champion of the people, that's the best thing that you can have. And it's like, yeah, but unless you're The Rock and get a custom People's Champion title, what do you show for it
Mhm.
afterwards?
I
So,
mean, one of the best matches on the card had like one of the oldest people, and that was Sheamus and Rusev. That was
mm,
one of the best matches.
yeah, I was
And he's
gonna,
like, in his 40s, he's pushing 50.
yeah,
Sheamus,
I was gonna actually mention that as well, like, because like the Sheamus and Rusev one, they've been trying to build this up over like the matches, and no one's really bothering with it. But including this match, they've been producing like constant bangers. Do you think it's just a case of people don't know what they have until it's gone because they just know these guys can play it and they can play it
Yeah,
very damn well.
Aye.
I think it is.
Because they're talking about like after this we feud that them teaming up again. Do you think that's a good idea? I'll go with Ray with this one.
No.
No, I think Rusev should like team up with you and the rest of the other gingers in WWE, and you'd be the fighting Irish.
Mm, that
What
could be
do
a good one. I mean, in fairness, I would have to be like the Paul Heyman. I'd have to be the mouthpiece. Well, there's no way
Aye, well, every group needs a manager.
well, not anymore in this day and age. Like, how many like managers or valets are there now? They're so hard to come by because
That is very true.
they expect everybody to just well, you can just talk and do your own promos. Like, well, it makes Paul Heyman like just like the white unicorn. Like
Aye.
he's so rare as that. But I'd love to be like a mouthpiece for like what somebody that would desperately need it. Otherwise, well, what would be the point? But we've kind of touched on it briefly, but we'll go through, right? So, Kev, best and worst match.
Eh, best match was Rusev and Sheamus. I mean, it was like 20-minute match, and it was fantastic. You knew what you were going to get when you went into that match, especially because of the type of match it was.
Hmm.
And they both came out uninjured, unscathed, and both of them came out looking strong. And obviously, the worst match was Becky and Nikki.
Hmm. Ray.
I agree with Kevin. The worst match was Becky and Nikki, but I actually think the main event was a good one,
Hmm.
slightly better just because there was more players in it. There was always something to keep you watching.
Hmm. That makes sense. Well, I think we're all in agreement with the worst match, like Becky and Nikki. I mean, the fairest I think that's 2 for 2 now. Big Time Bex has been the worst matches for us by like the overall consensus, which is a bit worrying because if she's as big time as she's meant to be, she should be carrying these matches, and she's not been.
Yeah,
Well, don't get me wrong, like they've got to hold up their end of the bargains as well, like the opponents. But you saw it with Bret Hart, like back in the 90s. As much as I fucking hate to say Bret Hart's name, because I'm sick and tired of him. I'm as sick and tired as he is of talking about Goldberg. But you knew when you were in the ring with Bret Hart, the guys could get carried to a good match, because then they'd have a match after him, and they were shite. Like I
Yeah,
recently watched the Rowdy Roddy Piper documentary again, and he was talking about like him and Brett having that brilliant match. Then he had the match with Jerry the King Lawler, and it was utter pish. Well, so it just shows you like if depending on who your opponent is the difference between you having a banger and having an absolute turd. So there's a bit of worry there that if she doesn't pull the finger out, there's every chance that they could just be like, nah, take the title off you.
mhm.
Or it'll sink the women's IC title before it's even begun, which will be even worse because they deserve the mid card titles. But for me, the best match had, and I hate to say this, Logan Paul Cena, and I don't say it for Cena's sake. Like they surprisingly worked so well together. Like for the age that Cena is, and obviously, but he's now over the ring rust and stuff, and for the talent, I hate saying the talent that Logan Paul has because it's like I feel like every time I mention that, it gives me stomach cancer. But what you can't deny the fucker's talented. He's taken so well at the business. He's worked hard. His character is just basically him, just cranked up a little bit.
I don't
And
even think it's tanked up,
nah,
allegedly.
allegedly, I wouldn't think it's cranked up either. I was always saying like maybe cranked up by 1 notch if you're lucky. Other people would be like crank it to 11. I'd be like, nah, crank it to 1.5 for him, and he's fine. But just their styles worked so well. I think that's what surprised me the most. And busting out the different moves and being able to carry each other so well. And that's another big main event player that Logan Paul has been in a good match with. I mean, he faced Roman Reigns in his tribal chief thing when we were like, he's going to get absolutely squashed. And he did to an extent, but he still showed that he could hang, which was that's when people were like, oh, fuck, he's actually no bad. And then it was like, oh, fuck, he's actually no bad.
Well, that was my reaction. Remember when he first came in, we were doing this, and I was like, I hate to admit it,
Mm,
his in-ring ability is amazing,
yes.
but
I hate to admit it, but he's a better fighter than his brother.
Aye.
I'm
Well,
probably a better fighter.
I mean, in fairness, like they're still talking about digging up George Foreman, to give him another easy match.
Yep.
You know, like, I know he's been dead for 6 months, but I think Foreman could still take him.
Oh, definitely.
But,
If he could, they beat him in a boxing match, he'd just fuck him out of the head with one of the girls.
oh, aye. Well, that grill is just. I still remember the OG grill. That was
Aye.
peak. That was peak. Like everything else, it was all like the fluorescent colored see through. That's when you knew our species just we hit peak form, and we've just went
Aye.
fucking right downhill ever since. Well, there'll be one
I,
thing.
I can still remember people believing that George Foreman was only famous for making the girls.
Aye, that was unreal. But also at the same time, just shows how bad we are as a society.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here's one, just to touch on, just as professional. What it was the SmackDown beforehand. Sami Zayn, got the title off of Solo. Now, this means that he's only one title away, technically, from becoming a Grand Slam champion. Do you think that's going to happen?
I hope so. I
That pro-
definitely hope so. Sammy's proved in the last few years that he can in fact run with the main card. They can take a rebranding pretty much any time they hand it to him
Mm.
and make the character work. As much as I hated the conspiracy theorist side of him, looking back at him, he still put on a show with it.
Mm. What about you, Kev?
I mean, I hope it happens for him because he's been so deserving, especially the stuff that he was doing with the bloodline and stuff. I mean, he came in, he was supposed to be in for like a couple of weeks, and then they were just going to destroy him.
Mm.
But it just worked so well. They're like, we have to keep him. And some of the comedy gold moments we got for the bloodline was because of Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
We know that he can hold his own in a match against people like Roman Reigns. That match with him and Roman was amazing. And at points, it's like they're going to give the belt to Sami, which they should have. Just think how relevant that would have made that title change at that time. But again, they shat the bed on it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we'll keep the title on Roman for another 6 years.
Mm.
And it's just, he's overdue. Give him one run. There's so many people that have deserved at least one good title run, 6 month run with the title. And then if it's any good, take it off them, build them back up, give it to them again. That's what they're doing with Cody. You can see that that's where they're going. And it's like, they don't need it.
Yeah.
The
So
people that are putting the title on don't need them.
well, I'm
They
gonna.
need to put it on people that are up and coming or people that have been there, putting in the graft and doing the work. Like LA Knight, who deserves a title run. Like R-Truth, who definitely deserves a title run. If he hasn't had a title run before he retires, I'm going to hunt down Triple H and beat him up.
I'm cool with that.
Yep.
But since it's Ross Ginger, look, we've got to give you this one. Out of the 2 horse race of gingers to get Grand Slams, who's going to do it first, Sheamus or Sammy?
I hope it's Sheamus. Because Sammy's still got another good 5 year in him. Whereas Sheamus doesn't. He knows.
I was about to say the same there. Yeah, Sammy's getting more time and I'm hoping Sheamus gets it off.
Yeah, I hope so too. Well, that's who I would want to see out of the 2 gingers get to the Grand Slam first. But if neither of them do, Kev, you can then go and beat up Triple H.
I'll leave it now.
Cool.
And I'll take
Hey.
my ginger way, mate.
Oh, beat him over the head with that. Ironic because I'm ginger, yet I'm the only one that's not drinking it because I can't fucking
That
afford
is
it.
actually quite comical.
Because I can't fucking afford it. Anyway, so we've covered a bit of Clash in Paris. What we've covered, the Raw after the SmackDown before it as well. So I think we're pretty much set for the night, guys.
Pretty much.
Yep. So hopefully we'll be back to
Pleasure, my man.
hopefully back to some sort of capacity by the next one. But until next time, guys. See ya.
Take it easy, lad.